Now tuning in to Earbud Media. Audio for everyone.
Can I get a hell yeah from the chat? Real quick.
Can I get some dubs in chat?
Can I get some dubs, please?
I know that Spotify is actively going down as we speak. But if we could just get some dubs in chat, that'd be great. Thank you.
Right. Yeah, on the sinking ship.
They chose this. That was an active decision that they made to kind of sink their own ship. So there's nothing that we can do about that, you know?
Right. It's not our fault, and also we can't save it.
No, we can't. If you decide to tank your own app, that's your fault. You know what I mean?
Right.
Sometimes you decide in 2024 to pivot to video, you know?
Right.
Hey, I thought that was supposed to go away on Twitter, but I'm getting a lot of fucking ads from those people. Right. So what's up with that, you know?
Yeah, I'm confused.
They have no likes. They have no retweets.
Yeah.
It's just,
no.
Can I get some dubs in chat?
Yeah, literally. It's just like, I like pasta and development. And it's like, what is happening?
Good morning. How do you feel about bananas? Like, what? Shut up.
Right.
Why did you pay for this ad?
Why is this an ad? That's not even, I wouldn't even qualify that as an advertisement. For what? Bananas? The banana industry?
Why do you have disposable ad money? Pay my rent.
Right.
Go fix the airplanes. Fuck off.
Yeah, seriously. Can we actually get on that?
Hey, real quick. Welcome to Into Twilight, by the way.
Hey.
Why were you dogging on me for the past 8 years for my airplane tracker when it has been actually a life-saving measure to know when planes are falling out of the sky?
No, I mean, listen, I was wrong for sure. For sure. And I apologize for that.
Me, the oracle on the show.
Right. You've always been on the right side of herstory, and that's for sure. I didn't realize things were this bad and could get this bad. So
you watched Lost. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. But that seems like that's a one time, right? And then
you also watched Yellow Jackets, so
okay, that's a 2 You're like, no shot, no way, and then it's a little scary.
It's just a little. It's a little bit. Scary. Sometimes you just need to know where the fucking planes are in the sky.
Yeah,
and if they're staying in the sky, you know.
Right. Yeah, where they belong, where they should be, where they live.
If they're staying in their sky neighborhoods, you know what I mean?
Right. Has anyone done anything about sky law? I'm concerned. I have questions.
Christ. Hey, welcome to Into Twilight.
Hey.
Where we don't talk about real events. We just talk about cryptids and queers. And queer cryptids.
Yeah. Famously.
And more recently, One Republic, which we'll talk about in a few minutes.
Yeah, that'll be a featured segment later.
Notable queer enthusiast, One Republic.
Sure, yeah.
Hopefully. I don't want to find out that that's wrong. I don't want to do a quick Google about that.
Yeah, I don't want to find out that One Republic's homophobic. I don't want to know.
How you doing?
I'm here. I am, the whole city of Chicago is green. Shout out Ireland.
Thank you. Thank you, the love of my life, Ireland.
I am, for my happy thing, gonna do that thing that you don't like that I do.
Oh, no. What are you gonna make me buy this week?
Yeah. Specifically, what addictive video game am I gonna make you buy? That's gonna take away all of your time for the next week. And that is Balatro or Balatro. I'm actually not sure how it's pronounced. I should have checked, but everyone I've seen says it different.
That sounds very close to the Little Mix Vine sound.
It's true. It's true. And it is it's been blowing up on Twitch and YouTube and stuff. It's essentially poker, but what if poker was like a deck building game, which is very fun. And it's like, oh, you can like have these different cards that do different things. And I also don't know shit about poker. I'm not good at those kind of card games. They don't make sense to my brain.
Correct. Same.
I don't know what a straight is, and I won't. You can't tell me. You can't force me to know that information. I don't know what that means.
They've made the Joker really scary, Cody.
The Joker's very scary, but also very important to you in your game, because it gives you so many powers, so many fun things to do. So it's like you're not even playing real poker because you're playing like with fake rules that don't mean anything.
The only poker that I've played is on that Nintendo game.
Yeah, Clubhouse games.
Yes, exactly. That's the only poker that I've ever played.
Yeah, that me too. And that still, I was like, I don't think I know what's happening here. I don't think I know what's going on.
I just like have accidentally won on that. It's like my knowledge of poker is that and then Parent Trap. That's it.
Yes, literally. Yeah, I'm just gonna drop some cards down and hope for the best.
Hope for the best. Yep, literally.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know anything. But this is fun because it's like also it doesn't mean anything. Like it kind of matters, but not really because you can just like gain it with other stuff.
This looks... Fuck you. This looks fun.
I told you beforehand. I knew what I was about to do.
How is tarot involved in this? Why is the Justice card in here?
So there's also... Those are like the Jokers give you certain like multipliers or like advantages, and then there's tarot cards and also planet cards, I believe. Like they can upgrade the rank of your card. So if you have like, you know, just a number card, it can maybe be a face card. Like there's like different things that it can like transform your deck, I guess is more of the accurate way, or your hand. So there's like a lot of little spooky cosmic elements thrown in, and it's very fun.
I'm looking at a screenshot of this game on Nintendo Switch, and there's a Joker of a sad mime, and I'm unfortunately really emotionally invested in this sad mime.
Yeah, I do. That is kind of a slay.
God damn it. It's only $15. If I know anything about the watermelon game, which was $4, and I've played probably 100 hours of that game, it's well worth my money.
Yeah. And it's made by like one guy too, which is
okay. This is a homegrown farmer's market game. But also, fuck you for giving...
You're welcome.
I'm so excited to play this now.
Yeah.
You're just going to see, like, get notifications on my Switch that I'm just only playing this poker
I'm going to
game.
see your little online status pop up.
At, like, the equivalent of, like, my 2 a.m., which is, like, 10 p.m., just playing poker.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Whoops. Sorry.
Whoops.
How are you doing?
I'm alive, and I feel like that has a different meaning this week because yesterday, so Friday when this comes out, I passed my exact degree of my Saturn return. So I'm alive, bitch.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Fuck them.
Against all odds. I'm bringing a little bit of an abstract happy thing this week.
Yeah, I am a little curious about it.
I know
just the image.
The photo is a little bit daunting. Not to be too like a child of Pluto, but my happy thing is characterizations of death in media. Like personifications of death in media.
Okay. All right.
And this was brought up in my mind specifically because I saw an appreciation tweet of this from a person whose name is personally escaping me right now, and I'll find it in a second. And then their name is Casey Gifford at Kills Carrie. And it reminded me of this trope because I fucking love it. Of like the idea of death, TM, being this like individualized character. And it helped me realize like, oh yeah, I love this. And when I saw it, I had just finished up the D20 campaign of Never After.
Okay, gotcha.
And one of the NPCs in that is the big bad wolf, which in that campaign is death, TM. But then it got me thinking, like, oh yeah, some of my favorite media have had this. One of which, this one isn't necessarily death, it's kind of beyond death, but like thinking of Vecna from the Fall of the House of Usher.
Okay, yeah.
Who's like, it's the layman's death, but it's kind of like beyond death. It's like karma, kind of. And then I was like, what other, because I love this. And I was thinking about like death in Charmed is like that bad bitch, like old dude. And then they did it in Supernatural too, which is like at the beginning of season 4, one of the 4 horsemen has like the best entrance ever. And then this is a Canadian show. They're technically Grim Reapers, but it's kind of similar, which is Dead Like Me. It had one season. Mm-hmm. It's so criminal because it's Mandy Patinkin.
Yeah.
It was so fucked up. I know. And it was like, but I know that there's a lot of shows that have done this. There's one that I remember being really scared of and never watched as a kid. That was like a literal Grim Reaper on Cartoon Network. Where it was like 2 kids and a Grim Reaper. But like, there's...
Billy and Mandy?
Yeah. And then I know that there's a Netflix show that I haven't watched because I haven't had a subscription lately. There's Sandman. And then there was like a Twilight Zone episode that I really liked when I was growing up that had it as well. And there was this whole thread that was like just showcasing a lot of these favorite characterizations. But I remember when I was getting my English degree that thinking about it in literature was one of my favorite things as well. And growing up, I was very, my parents did not expose me to death in like my personal family. So I was taught to be afraid of it. And I think that in media, that was a really helpful way to not be afraid of it. But I think that media does a really good job of not just having characters who are like curious, but also having characters that personify death in ways that are also like funny or sweet. And I think that that's super interesting to have as well.
Yeah, it is like a fascinating, because I think also like if going back to tarot, right? Like it's interesting how like the interpretations of cards and stuff can be so like death is obviously a huge example of like it's like ooh scary, but it's like no actually, or like there's like different ways of that. And I think also in whether it's literature, fiction in general, or media, there's like a lot of nuance and even like joy or like complicated feelings and stuff with it, rather than just like I'm big bad, like Grim Reaper scary, ooh like I'm gonna kill you, and like fear based, while also having that be like underlying, but not like that's only what your character is, as an interpretation.
And I think that like as a kid, that was very much what I thought death was. Right. And I can't remember the name of this art piece now, but a really famous one is of death right next to a woman and her like dead, dying child. And I think that that's a really helpful way of, because the death in that image is like holding out and almost like comforting that mother in that picture. And I think that the idea of death, which is supposed to be this like beyond, right, this like unfeeling entity having emotions and not being scary, is super interesting to think about, and not being afraid of it. I don't know, I think that that's a really interesting idea to have as you get older. And having this idea of art being able to give death like humor or sass is wild, and I love those portrayals now in media. So I would have never thought me now would love that trope, but I do. So if y'all have more recommendations, send them. Because I like it. I think it's interesting.
Hell yeah.
Who would have thought that me, someone on a vampire podcast, would be interested in the idea of death?
Shout out death and mortality. Totally talked about themes on this program.
For real. Literally.
Under-discussed, underdeveloped.
Definitely not something that we have been discussing over the past 8 years.
Yeah.
Our current events this week is just all KStew. And I'm so happy
Always has
about
been.
it. Always has been, always will be.
Always has been. Thank God, you know.
She has
I'm
been
living for this press cycle.
I'm so happy about it.
Yeah.
I'd love to see her on late night. I'm even more grateful that they're on YouTube later because Lord knows I don't stay up to watch late night.
Right.
I want to talk about her on Seth Meyers.
Yes, please.
More importantly, that she has a day drinking segment that they had the audacity to talk about and reference, but not have released at the same time that she was on Seth Meyers.
Seth Meyers, it's on site. I swear to God.
What is your
What is
damage?
your damage? What's going on?
Why do you think it's appropriate to release her on there right now and then take 2 weeks to put out the day drinking content?
Is this a fucking game to you? Like, do you think this is a joke? We're out here every week doing this shit and you're just gonna yoink us around?
And sure, great. I mean, thanks for giving us an exact day and time so that we know when to talk about it next. But also, fuck you. Right? Like,
yeah.
There's something very beautiful about her talking to Seth Meyers and referencing her kids, and then also just casually talking in French.
God, the nerve of this woman, I swear to God.
What is it like to be so cultured?
Yeah. Ugh.
The idea also, I know that this is in her Colbert segment where she's talking about the response to her Rolling Stone piece, but I love the fact that there's so much unnecessary response to that Rolling Stone piece, but she's also like, I'm gonna go ahead and do this press tour while essentially wearing like really stylishly slutty attire.
Yeah,
so
and
fuck
that
you.
is her right, and thank God. You know,
and I love it. I think it's a very beautiful fuck you to everyone.
God.
So thank you for your service, and thank you to your stylists.
Yes, for real.
Hey, speaking of her stylists, can you do us the honor of doing a fashion corner?
Oh my God. Pew, 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 pew. Welcome back, ladies, gentlemen, and otherwise, to the KStew Fashion Corner. It is, honestly, it's been so long since we've been truly fed. You know what I mean? Because, listen, I love her. I love her to death, right? There have been some looks that have not been served, right? Just like we can say that.
That have warranted the sad button, you know?
Just a little womp womp, you know? And that's
We're not mad,
fine.
we're just disappointed.
We're not mad. We're here. And that's okay. But for this fucking Love Lies Bleeding press tour, she is, dare I say, properly serving for the first time in a long while. And I am I'm gooped, I'm gagged, I'm living, I'm laughing, I'm loving.
Emphasis on the loving.
Yeah, emphasis on the loving. There are so many, and listen, it's the most surprising thing is that is still Chanel, which, you know, have been responsible for some of the flops. But these are solid things going on here right now. Notably, the look that I believe she wears on the Seth Meyers segment, where she has like this leather blazer type deal and like a netted bra situation, and then a short skirt, garters, and like
the
kind of
garters,
like what if
Cody?
The garters are unbelievable. They're unbelievable. It's like, what if I was sexy, like business professional, but like lesbian, you know? And that's really great. I love that as a mood.
If y'all heard howling, it was me. I'm sorry.
Yeah. There are some of these, I gotta be honest, some of these I'm not super jazzed about. The most notably, like, just like the tennis inspired / straight out underwear vibes.
Yeah.
There are parts of these I like. I like that there's like this white button-up kind of shirt, or like cream, I guess, and like these little brown loafers. Those are fun. This fucking like diaper thing, man. I see the vision. I don't love it though. I don't love it.
I also think that it's the reason why I don't necessarily love the cream one is that I think it just washes her out.
Yeah, right. And she's so like pale, so it just feels not like she's very good in like the gothic, more dark. Even this like gray one that's like big coat, big pant. She's flipping off the camera.
Yes.
What a gal, you know? That's flames, that's fire. But the very lighter ones, I don't think suit her as much.
'Cause the cut of the button up itself looks great. I think it's the color specifically that washes her out. But the black number, which is on our Twitter, looks better on her coloring.
Yeah, for sure.
I honestly couldn't believe that this was Chanel.
Yeah. We've been failed so many times.
I know.
Of this combination of star and designer, but this is good.
I think it's great. I also love that this same outfit that I have seen on Maine, like crossing KStew fans talking about. She was wearing just sneakers with it on Seth Meyers, which I thought was beautiful because you're not just going to be in New York in heels, right? Unless you're doing like a pap walk, right? But she was just in sneakers, and I think that that's beautiful. I love someone who's just going to be comfortable. I think that that's a smart choice.
Yeah.
Save your heels. So, thank you. Honestly, shocker. Good work, Chanel.
Right.
It's so rarely a hit for you.
Yeah.
But keep it up, because a lot of the looks that we've seen thus far in this press tour for Love Lies Bleeding have been great. Thank you for your service. Was nervous. I was nervous last week when we watched the season premiere for season 2. And I was not sure what we were getting into coming into episode 2, Brave New World. How did this episode do you?
Yeah. Man. I'm stressed out for sure.
Same. My blood pressure was high this episode.
Yeah, absolutely. But I am interested of where this is going. Like, we're already setting up a lot of interesting things here.
Same.
And so I am very curious. For the first time, I'm very interested in Carolyn. Can you imagine? She's actually a character that has something going on in a way that I feel it has
this
ripple effects on other human beings.
Had a lot of highs and low lows for me.
Yes,
which completely. I was not I expected this to kind of be a filler episode after last week.
Yeah, right. But no,
and
there was,
to my fucking surprise, I was wrong.
Oh, Carolyn, Catherine, you cruel mistress.
For real. Yeah, because the recap kind of set the stage for what I was expecting. It was like heavy on the Lockwoods, unfortunate.
Yeah. Right.
And then heavy on Caroline dying, which I was excited about. I was hoping that this episode was heavy on Caroline.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for that. Unfortunately, they're really dragging out this Lockwood storyline. And I'm pissed about it.
I'm bored. I'm so bored.
I'm so bored.
Just tell me what they are. Like, I don't care anymore at this point. Just, like, do it. Rip the Band-Aid off. And then we can just, like, get to the meat of, like, why it matters. Or, like, who cares. Because at this moment, do not.
For the sake of our listeners, I want to talk about the Lockwoods and then I want to be done with it for a second. So, like, content warning on Lockwood's storyline of, like, parental abuse. And then I'm just going to... Yeah. I want to ignore them for the rest of this episode. Yeah. Here's my beef with them, which I have a lot of. The vibe that I got from this episode is that the writers are trying to retcon the way that the mayor treated Tyler like the abuse of Tyler and thus like Tyler being a dick to Vicky and Jeremy as like the condition that they have, which I think is like being a werewolf, right? As just like that's
the condition.
Whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah, I've been diagnosed werewolf.
on their medical sheet, it just like my chart, it just says werewolf.
Yeah, literally.
But like they're just saying like, oh, because they're werewolves, that's why they're abusive.
Yeah,
and I don't like that.
Yeah,
that doesn't have to be that way.
It's like, you don't get it. It's just male aggression because of werewolfness, and it's fine because that's how it happens. And it's like, can we wait? I don't, I don't love where this is going. The implications here.
Correct. I don't like that. Also, I wear moonstone. It doesn't work like that. Okay.
Right. Right.
Also, but I did think that the moonstone that they had was very pretty.
Yeah.
So I'm bored. I don't think that it's interesting. The only interesting part of the whole family storyline this episode is that Mrs. Lockwood is the interim mayor. And I think she's going to get into some really fuck shit.
Yeah, and also, like, just the fact that, like, her little conversation with Damon being able to just, like, maneuver through this small-town political landscape is pretty nuts to me. And everyone's like, yeah, for sure, he's trustworthy. Totally. Nothing here.
That is the interesting part, but that doesn't really have anything to do with the Lockwood family.
No, right, yeah.
So, I don't find it interesting. The only other thing that I think is important, I guess, is we did get a little bit of backstory about Tyler. It doesn't make me, I don't know, it doesn't really make me feel bad for him as a whole character, but to find out that, like, he said that he plays, I think, 3 varsity sports, that he's practicing for them 4 times a week, and the other 3 days he's running. Like, this kid never gets a day off, which is very typical for, like, being an abused kid. And he still has that amount of, like, energy and anger. Again, I think that charts for being under his condition. But that was the only piece of... Oh, and then the fucking safe under the floorboards.
Oh, yes. Right. Yeah.
But again, I don't care about these kids. Like, tell me he's a werewolf or not. Don't drag it out.
Right. Because I'm losing patience very quickly and interest.
Yeah. And, like, either figure it out and Mason is going to become the mayor, but don't wait until the mid-season finale.
Yeah.
I'm bored. Like, why is he a part of this, like, arm wrestling plot? I don't care. Also, this is moving on from the Lockwoods. Why is there an annual carnival? Why the fuck? Didn't we just talk about this last week about their social media calendar?
There are so many events. How do they... First of all, how does Carolyn stay alive? Because it feels like she's got to plan and attend a thing every 2 business days at minimum. Seems exhausting.
You know.
And it's like, here's another thing. Great.
I don't think that she has neurodivergence. This girl is buying Adderall off of someone.
Oh, sure. Yeah. That's the only way. That's the only way she can keep up.
Exactly.
In this town of 1 million town-centric events that happen every few days.
It feels like... What is that movie that was like half in black and white and half in color about a town? The, like, creepy town. It feels like that. Like, why? It feels like a fake place, but it's supposed to be real.
Right.
It's unnecessarily creepy, the amount of, like, nationalism that they have. And I don't like it.
Not a big fan. What I did love, though, in an episode that had It was a lot of drama, right? Not a lot of laughs, right?
It was a stressful carnival, I'll say that.
It was a stressful carnival. I got the biggest fucking laugh I've had watching this show when poor Carolyn, she's going through it because she's realizing she's turning into a vampire, / already a vampire, and is slapping on that blood bag like a Capri Sun.
Oh my god.
And then it immediately hard cut transitions into the carnival with I want some more, which is so fucking the genius there is so incredible to me. I had to pause because I was laughing so much at how beautiful that was. That was artistry to me.
There's, first of all, that carnival was like a fucking blast.
Yeah. Yeah.
It looked so amazing. But I need to talk about Caroline because this is the first time we didn't even get this with Vicky, really.
Yeah.
We got it a little bit, but this is, I mean, and Vicky did her damnedest. Like, that was a funny transition.
Yeah.
That we saw, but this is the proper like fear that that we are really supposed to see.
Yes.
When someone is transitioning into being a vampire, and I loved it. Yeah. And I think, as we have said before, so much of what we've known about Caroline is being a pawn, and now she's fucking interesting. And how do we know she's interesting? Homegirl has a smoky eye now.
Right, she's got a smoky eye, and she's ready to fucking play. Okay.
But even when she's, like, pre-smoky eye, before she gets into the carnival and she has a smoky eye and we know that she's interesting, TM, we get to even... I knew that nurse was gone, girl, the minute that she stepped out. But seeing her slap that blood bag around... and knowing, like, she takes a sip of it, and the only thing that I associate it with is Bella in that styrofoam cup when she's like, it's good. But she has the proper reaction of taking a sip and being disgusted, because that's what you're supposed to do. Right. And then I thought she was going to lick it off the floor.
Yeah.
But she didn't. But even seeing her, like, testing out her reactions to the sunlight...
Yeah, and it felt very like, oh, this is like a newborn vampire.
Exactly.
And stuff that we don't see, like, all the motions through. Like, we do a little bit in certain things. But this one, especially in this show, feels very like, okay, here are the actual, like, we're setting up the limitations and not of this process and what it looks like. And also having it in, like, the controlled environment of a hospital is interesting.
So good.
Because there's just this one woman who's running the front desk, and then, like, helping her out and stuff, until, you know, she isn't. But like, there's not, like, it's not like it's like a packed hospital. It's not like there's, like, she's kind of just, like, by herself, outside of when certain people come in and visit. But for most part, she's kind of, like, able to figure out some of these things on her own in this, like, somewhat protected environment, which is interesting.
And I loved that the writers called back to the necklace that Elena gave her, and that how it burned her skin when she tried to put it on. Yeah, it was very good. And Caroline as a vampire is so interesting because why would she know about the compulsion? And so when she does it to the nurse, she's like, I don't know how the fuck this works, but this is great. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Right.
It's so good. I love her this way. I'm very excited to see how it works. And also, when it gets later into the episode, that she's like, I hate this now. Now I'm starting to see the consequences of my actions, and it's such a bummer. Yeah. The thing that, like, that really bummed me out about the way that the writers chose this is that Carter... is theoretically the only other black character that we've seen in this town. Yeah. That Elena tried to do eyes and, like, set him up with Bonnie. This is a very explicitly racist town. They've made that, like, so clear in this show. It feels so weird for the writers to have Caroline miss Mystic Falls, kill a black man, and drain him of his blood. Like, that's a really direct and choice for them to do in a show that, like, the only other piece of news that I know about it is that they killed Bonnie off, and that's supposedly, like, a racist decision that they did. Yeah. And I don't like it.
Yeah. And especially, like, you're right, as Caroline kind of being this, like, literal figurehead of, like the whiteness of the town, obviously, but also, like, the values and the type of, and also her connection with, her mom and connections to the town itself as a larger institution is, like, very telling. Very interesting.
And it's like, I know these writers. We got introduced to a random dude in this one episode who was not there before. Yeah. But it also feels very coded for this town specifically. Mm-hmm. So I see what you're doing, and I'm not cool with it. And also, he was super cute. Why couldn't he have stayed around? So what's your damage?
Yeah. Outside of any of the actual, like, genuine bad things about it, he was very nice to look at, and that's fucked up because I wanted to see it.
Yeah. I was hoping that he could stay around for a while, so what the fuck?
Yeah, goddamn.
I was bummed out about it, so...
Yeah.
And also, I mean, she couldn't have killed Matt? Like...
Yeah, right. There's so many other eligible people.
Yeah, I don't have any... I wouldn't have minded. He doesn't have anything going for him. So, I reserve the right to change my mind about that, but I don't see it happening.
Right.
So, how about that? Oh, there are a lot of things about this when we're thinking about high highs, low lows. A low for me is that Jeremy cut his hair.
Yeah. It's not giving.
Who told him to do that?
Once was. Yeah. My sweet baby boy. My sweet summer adult man child.
He looks younger. I'll say that.
Yes. Right. It does help in that department a little bit, for sure.
But I don't like it, and I didn't approve of it.
Right. You should have asked me first.
You should have asked me a decade plus ago if I was okay with it.
Right.
And I think that that's rude. Another note that I made about this carnival was there was a point when they cut to, not the first time when they were setting up the carnival, but a point when they cut in while the carnival was still running. I think it was right before they introduced Carter, actually. They made Bonnie say that they were out of Team Jacob t-shirts.
Right. Which...
I feel like specifically Bonnie saying that feels especially cruel.
Yeah.
She's a witch.
Right. Come on now. Don't do her like that.
We also didn't find out, and I know it's because Caroline was like having a mess. We didn't find out how she felt about the carnival setup.
Right.
She was really stressed out about that.
Yeah, she was so neurotic. She was like, I need to get discharged as early as possible by force if I have to, and I will. And because I'm so nervous about this carnival setup, because I do not trust Elena to get this shit together, because she is not Miss Mystic Falls like I am. I know how to throw a fucking party out here, okay? And we didn't even get to see if she enjoyed it or not, if she had a good time, because she was too busy eating people, And it happens. Life happens.
It seemed fine. Elena she had a clipboard at one point. She seemed like she was doing okay.
She was doing business. Yeah, she was running stuff for sure.
And on paper, Caroline killed someone and also broke glass bottles. So
yeah,
technically she destroyed things.
Yeah, she was definitely not well enough to be there, for sure.
Correct.
But she had to see. She had to be there and see it for herself.
Oh
my goodness.
I found someone, in between recording these episodes from last week, I saw someone on TikTok describe Elena as early seasons Meredith Grey, and it changed how I watched this episode because it is so accurate that it hurt me.
Oh no.
Elena is so like Y/N. She's just so bland. And I think that it stood out a lot this week because Catherine wasn't here.
Yeah.
That I was like, Elena, you are the least interesting person in these cast of characters.
Yes. And, like, not even close. It's not a competition.
You looked really pretty. Like, Nina looked really pretty this episode, but you were very forgettable this week.
Yeah. Wasn't given a lot in this one. And that's okay. You know, she's burning out her stuff for other episodes usually. So
that's true.
She just rolls back, you know?
That's true. The one standout I will say for Helena that I wrote down and then like underlined was at the very end when she knew Damon wouldn't hurt her, so she stood in front of Caroline. Mm-hmm. And that is hot. I hate these two especially.
Yeah, and like the eyes between them when Damon's like holding the steak, and it's like, back off, bitch. I want to jump out of a window. That's my truth when watching that. Because what the fuck, guys?
Damon was on one this week.
He is drunk with political power, and I don't appreciate it. Like, I know as a bit, we were like, oh my god, Damon for president. What if, LOL, Damon for mayor? No, I don't. And he knows. He's like, and even has this, like, saucy little conversation with Stefan of being like, oh, isn't it so fun? You think I'm so unstable and, like, I could do anything at any moment. Ha 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 ha. And it's like, yeah, bitch. Like, that's your whole thing. But it does. He's got a little spice to him.
He's walking around Mystic Falls like he has a fucking janitor ring of keys to this town.
Yes.
Sir, you are not all powerful. Okay?
Right. Yeah, we gotta rein it in a little bit. I did also appreciate his like little side quest with Jeremy.
Oh my god.
Because Jeremy's like trying to kill Damon, right? Which is very funny because he's like, hey, you did it first, so I think that's only fair, right?
True.
Which, like, honestly is so true, King. And I think it's just the Ian Somerhalder of it all. But there was chemistry there that was palpable, and I was not expecting. It was
so strong, Cody.
And I'm like, okay, if Elena's not interested, maybe there's another option here in the family. If we want to get more incestuous with it, like we already are, you know?
It explains why there are so many fan fictions between the two of them.
Yeah.
I don't ship it. It's just because Ian is walking charisma.
Yeah, he's just magnetic. It's hard to even stand next to him without being like, am I... Is there something going on here?
When the two of them, when he like grabbed Jeremy at the carnival and was like, I could kill you here if I want to. And then he threw the ring back in Jeremy's face. Oh my god.
And notably him saying, I could shove this ring up your ass.
Oh my god.
It's like, Damon?
That's a minor.
I mean, would you? Will you? Can you? Like, what the fuck?
I can't. Damon at the carnival specifically was really on one. I specifically noted when he took that like structural wooden stake out of the carnival. Like, sir, Elena worked really hard on setting up this whole thing, and you don't know what that stake was attached to. You could have just released like a balloon. Like, you could have just killed someone by taking that stake out of the ground. You don't know what that was attached to, but you were like, fuck it, I don't care, I'm gonna go kill Caroline.
Right.
Sir?
Like, why not? There's nothing weird going on here, or nothing I should think about closely.
You're so worried about Caroline that you're like taking structural stakes out of the ground. You're telling miners to fight each other to the death. Like, get it together, my man. You're running for office.
Right. Come on.
I also thought that moment was really funny. Weirdly, Stefan won me over this episode for two
Stefan
moments.
Was doing pretty all right here. Yeah.
Like, the Ninja Turtles comment was really funny.
Really good.
Not unexpected for him, by the way.
Yeah. Right.
And then he won me over, and that's saying something, because Stefan could go run in traffic for all I care.
Sure.
But, like, when he was taking care of Caroline in the bathroom at the end, very, like, she's drunk at a bar, and he was like, no, girl, like, you're so pretty. I was like, oh my god, Stefan, you're kind of redeemable. That's so weird.
Whoa,
fucking hate you. That's wild. But he was like, girl, get it the fuck together. Like, my brother wants to kill you, but my girlfriend wants to save you. So you need to get it together. I thought that was great. I was like, interesting. You're kind of okay.
Yeah. Not actively hating you, right?
Not actively hating you. Also, speaking of Damon being on one, by the way, there was a moment that I wrote down from him. There was a quote that he said that I thought was really beautiful, which was when he was, like, drinking blood. He was talking to Stefan, and he was like, aren't you worried that all the forest animals are going to band together and fight back? And I just thought that was a really beautiful image.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Gorgeous work.
And I wish.
Poetry. Yeah.
I mean, both of them deserve to get got at this point, but I still kind of want Stefan more than Damon to get got, so.
Yeah. I also loved the very, very Edward coded of at the end where they're like doing the Ferris wheel type thing. And he does just like a straight vertical leap.
Jesus Christ. Can we talk about the editing on that and how it was almost as bad as the fucking Catherine Mother's Day photo?
Yes. Oh my god. Yeah.
It was like shaking from the green screen.
It was rough. Yeah. It's like they were going like hyperspeed. And it's like, hey man, I know you wanted like a romantic thing. But this feels a little extra. This feels like a little much. And it doesn't even look very good here.
And aren't they
it's like, ooh, let's fly through the trees. It's like, let's do a straight vertical leap to the top of this Ferris wheel. It's like, I don't know, dog. I don't know about that.
When they got like close up on the Ferris wheel, they're supposed to be like, the dawn is supposed to be breaking behind them, which like, first of all, Stephanie could sue.
Yeah, for real.
But like, the fucking green screen behind them was like quaking from the editing. Mm-hmm. And Elena's saying really serious things. She's like, I'm really trying to like be present in this moment and enjoy it, but I know that Catherine's like coming from my fucking guts and things are going to get really bad. And I couldn't focus on it because the editing was so bad.
Yeah.
Not to mention that One Republic was playing behind it. So I was like, I can't be here right now. This is too much.
I shouldn't be here.
It was so difficult to focus on. The other thing that we have not talked about that is very critical is during this moment near the end of the episode of like Stefan trying to kill Caroline, Bonnie's here.
Yes, Bonnie is crucially
and
here.
Elena hadn't found out until like the carnival about Caroline.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, that moment where Caroline tells Damon that she knows everything and then passes the message on from Catherine was so good. I love that moment so much.
Yeah.
It's so... but Bonnie, throughout all of this, fucking broke my heart.
Yeah. Because, like, that's her one thing. She's very mad at Damon and Stefan and being like, hey, I lost a lot of shit right now and I'm just trying to do my thing. I don't want, like, super bad blood here, but, like, if you do shit that hurts people, I'm not gonna be nice.
She warned him very clearly in the finale. Very
explicitly, very directly. And they were like, sure, bet, for sure, I got you. Damon, I got, like, is so on board. I'm so on board. Bonnie, for sure. Except, whoopsie, what if, though? What if not?
And Caroline was, like, supposed to be her tethered to reality.
Yeah, exactly. And that was, like, because she's far better of a friend to her than Elena is. Because Elena's smitten with Damon. Or Stefan, but also Damon. But
and Caroline didn't know, and
right.
Bonnie didn't know, that Caroline had been attached to vampires. So as far as they both knew, everything was great.
Mm-hmm. Right.
This sucked so bad. That not only, like,
my heart.
She saw someone who was super cute just die, gone, and Caroline didn't want this. And Bonnie was like, God damn it, can I have nothing in this world?
Right. Justice for my girl, I swear to God.
And the one time, she's like, I set a boundary.
Right. She's very clear.
She told Damon what would happen. Mm-hmm. And then Lena's like, oh my God, bestie, don't.
What if you don't? That was Slay, though, when she was like, let me, first give you a brain freeze, Damon. And then,
so great.
While you're on the ground, conjure, like, a spilling tank of gasoline and setting it on fire.
Just like at the car wash.
Right, yeah. Which is Slay. And the fact that, also, it takes Elena way too long to stop her.
She was considering it for a second.
She was like standing there for a good 30 seconds before she just jumped in. I was like, hey, bestie. How about we don't burn alive Damon? Huh? How about we do
that? It definitely felt
right?
like oh my God, Bonnie, don't.
No, literally. It's like, you can't. Stop. It's like, girl, get in there. What are you doing?
I think only because the fact that it was in a really public place, that's why she stopped Bonnie.
Sure.
If they'd been out, like, on the old Salvatore property.
In a field, yeah.
Exactly. She would not have stopped. She would have let Bonnie fucking roast him alive.
Yeah. It's like, you do what you gotta do, girl. You know what I mean? That's... no people.
That's how I took it anyways, because of the fact that it took her so long to actually intervene.
Yeah. She's like, I'm fucking sick of this dude.
Because I refuse to believe that Elena saw that gas come in and then the fire start and still was like, I wonder what's happening right now.
Right.
You're not Jenna. Like,
yeah, you're a little less clueless than she is. So
for real,
on, get with it.
God damn.
Fuck. So funny.
I was full Bonnie there too. I mean, don't get me wrong. I unfortunately do love Damon, but he deserved it.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
I mean, he's the one, like, Caroline wouldn't have been turned by Catherine if he hadn't have done all of this stuff. And the fact that his response this episode was to kill Caroline, fuck that dude.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Next episode's titled Bad Moon Rising. When you look at this still, tell me it does not look like an intervention.
Yeah, it's like, hey, bud.
Caroline in these fucking capris, tell me it does not look like they're giving her an intervention.
Just out of frame, they have, like, little pieces of paper that they're like, hey.
Reading off of a script.
Yeah. It's like,
Caroline, we really love you and appreciate you, but we're concerned about your behavior.
Right.
We've noticed that you don't like to go out in the sun.
I recently went through something like this as well. I had a problem, and I know it was bad, and I needed the people around me to really get me on the right track.
Oh, also... How the fuck, do you think that in the Salvatore house somewhere, they just have, like, a surplus of those rings? Because...
Yeah, right? They're just checking them. Like, it doesn't matter.
Not only is Caroline, like, the whole town is going to notice if Caroline just, like, starts doing online school. Yeah, if they're, like, Mystic Falls becomes, like, a shut-in.
Yeah.
So, are they going to have to, like, go to K Jewelers or whatever the fuck?
Yeah.
Is there going to be, like, a side trip to Italy? What's going to happen here? I need to know. But I'm very curious when Catherine is going to come back, when they're going to stop talking about the Lockwoods. Please and thank you.
Yeah.
That would be great.
I'm so over it. So over it.
So over it. You know what I'm not so over?
Ooh.
Our patrons.
Fuck yeah.
Could you start us off?
Absolutely. Thank you to Maya Bennett.
Ooh, thank you to Sean Salvatore.
Pew pew. Thank you to Megan Pattinson.
Ooh, thank you to Katu Cart.
Ow. Thank you to Ashlyn Vogel.
Ooh, thank you to Maddie Facinelli.
Pew pew. Thank you to Genevieve Morgan.
Ooh, thank you to Danielle Burke.
Ow. Thank you to Sophia Salinger.
Ooh, thank you to Dan Deklos.
Ooh. And last but certainly not least, thank you to Emily Ozera.
Ooh. I have a fan fiction for you. This is by the author Leo Bratt. It was published in March of 2011, and it is titled As If You Have a Choice. I'm going to be reading this in totality because it is 100 words. But it is Caroline and Bonnie together, but it's very short.
All right.
When Elena falls asleep, Caroline turns over to check on Bonnie. She's still awake and staring right at her. It's a little creepy, but shit has just gotten kind of creepy between them in the last couple of months in general. It's not hard for a vampire to be still, which is something new to her since she was always on the go, always reaching for something more when she was alive. She lets Bonnie concentrate. Caroline hears her friend's voice, but she hasn't opened her mouth. Can we save her? Bonnie is practicing. Caroline takes her hand under the covers, squeezes tight. I'll die trying. End scene.
Damn. Ugh,
Damn.
My girls.
Just all these very supernatural beings
God.
trying to save the world. Ugh. I will say, the Salvatore brothers would have known a lot faster that Caroline was a vampire if they would have used their spidey senses.
Yeah. For real.
Because Stefan smelled blood. He did a fucking vertical leap of 30 feet, but didn't notice that someone's heart stopped beating. So interesting how selective that is, my boy.
Yeah, buddy. Get it together.
Almost like you could use that, but you choose not to.
So
interesting.
So upsetting.
Interesting, my man. I'm so nervous about next week, but this would be a great time to tell your friends about a really great show that is ours, and also download that Switch game, which I will definitely be playing immediately after we record this, and definitely on Monday when this comes out.
Hell yeah.
As we say here in the Pacific Northwest,
get bit.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Into the Twilight is an Earbud Media production. You can follow us on Twitter at Into the Twilight or on TikTok at Into the Twilight Show. You can find me at Cody Corral on Twitter and Allie at Alexandria Does. And you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/Into the Twilight. We have merch, so much stuff. All those links are in the episode description. And make sure to rate and review us on your favorite podcast hosting platform. It really helps the show. Thanks. Bye.
You've been listening to Earbud Media Production. Earbud Media, audio for everyone.